Human neural architecture evolved to process immediate physical threats on the savanna, not the abstract, high-speed data of modern financial markets. This biological inheritance creates a systemic mismatch. When placed in data-rich environments, the brain routinely miscalculates probability and geometric scale. These computational errors emerge across the cognitive spectrum, appearing in quantitative professionals and data scientists as reliably as in retail investors. Standard economic theory relies on the rational actor model, a framework assuming that humans process economic data objectively to maximize personal utility. Neurobiology shows this baseline assumption is incorrect. Professional financial miscalculations are the predictable output of unpatched neural hardware operating outside its evolutionary parameters. Theoretical models project a smooth exponential curve of rational growth, but actual behavior creates a jagged trajectory. Downward spikes represent loss aversion, treating financial loss as a physical threat. Simultaneously, exponential growth bias makes the brain default to a flat, linear trajectory. Recent functional magnetic resonance imaging and behavioral mathematics have pinpointed exactly where these biases live in the brain and the equations. Researchers have identified specific cognitive strategies, namely reappraisal and parameterization, that physically override these biological defaults. Improving decision-making requires mitigating evolved survival instincts through structural cognitive interventions. To understand the mechanism of risk mispricing, a 2013 study observed subjects making risky monetary choices while inside an fMRI scanner. fMRI, or functional magnetic resonance imaging, measures neural activity by detecting changes associated with blood flow. This equation shows the prospect theory utility function used to model the subject's choices for losses. Prospect theory is a behavioral model describing how people choose between probabilistic alternatives involving risk. This highlights the lambda variable, which represents the loss aversion coefficient, the multiplicative weight assigned to a financial loss. When lambda is greater than 1, financial losses are overvalued. A small loss psychologically outweighs a larger gain. The fMRI data revealed the neural location responsible for this overvaluation, the left amygdala, a cluster of nuclei associated with emotional processing. Scans showed its bold signal, which detects blood flow changes, correlates directly with the magnitude of behavioral loss aversion. The brain processes financial volatility using the circuitry dedicated to acute physiological fear and survival. The researchers then tested an intervention. They had participants make choices under two conditions: a baseline attend condition, where they viewed each choice in isolation, and a regulate condition. The regulate condition employed cognitive reappraisal, an emotion regulation strategy that involves reinterpreting the meaning of a stimulus to change its emotional impact. Subjects were instructed to view individual choices as part of a broader portfolio. This perspective shift reduced behavioral loss aversion by an average of 14%. This chart displays the neural impact. Regulators physically reduced their amygdala responses to loss, displaying significantly lower beta estimates of brain activity. Conversely, non-regulators showed persistently high amygdala arousal as their brains continued registering market variance as a physical threat. This strategy downregulates the neurological association between market volatility and biological panic. While the amygdala misprices risk, a separate cognitive glitch misprices time and scale. A 2021 study examined this through the lens of exponential growth bias. This graph plots an infectious disease scaling at a 26% daily growth rate over 30 days. The true mathematical trajectory reaches 1 million cases. However, subjects' median intuitive forecast was just 15,000 cases. This visual delta exposes the massive cognitive error. The 2021 study also identified mitigation bias. When asked to estimate the impact of reducing that high growth rate down to 9, reparameterizing the prompt to doubling time caused the median estimate on the dashed curve to jump to 256,000. The mechanics behind this improvement rely on how we process data. The brain naturally linearizes abstract percentages. Phrasing data as a doubling time forces the brain to perform discrete, sequential mathematical operations, breaking the linear default. Parameterization serves as a structural patch for our biological inability to process geometric scale. Quantitative professionals cannot outthink biological defaults through willpower or education. Improving outcomes requires engineering structural guardrails directly into financial and analytical models. Reframe individual losses as portfolio variances to actively downregulate amygdala arousal. Translate percentage growth into doubling times to bypass linear extrapolation bias. When designing risk and growth models, it is necessary to account for the neurological hardware of the user. Improving our long-term economic decision-making requires us to fully account for the prehistoric neural architecture that silently governs our everyday financial intuition.